So I am a child of the 1970s and 80s, growing up in what some may call a surge in the women's movement. Like many of my peers, I was told, you can be anything. You can do anything, and you certainly can do anything a boy can do. I embraced this wholeheartedly, going out for the basketball team, excelling academically, and really never saw how my gender would ever stand in the way of any of my dreams or goals. This was not only reinforced by my own family, but also of those TV families that the children of the 80s know so well. If I wanted to become a lawyer, all I had to do was turn on The Cosby Show and watch Claire Huxtable, fierce litigator, raise 5 children, and grow award-winning squash in their New York City backyard. If I wanted to be a journalist, I could turn on Growing Pains and see Maggie Seaver raise 4 children while chasing every story. If I wanted to be an architect, I could look to Elise Keaton on Family Ties, who would bring in the groceries along with blueprints into the kitchen that we all know so well from that show. But overall, I was told I could be anything. I could do anything. I could be an astronaut. I could be the president. But no one said a whole lot about who might watch my children while I was orbiting the Earth or hanging out in the Oval Office. I could certainly do anything, but I might not be able to do everything. We live in an America that does not value working moms. 70% of mothers with children under the age of 18 are in the workforce. And historically, they have done more of the homemaking. I'm not knocking fathers in any way. My husband, father to our 3 children, has changed his fair share of diapers. But if we look back at how working mothers have been treated over the years, there's a big difference. In the 1930s, some states prohibited women from working after they married. In the 1940s, a decade later, a large land-grant university in the Midwest fired a female dean simply for the act of getting married. When she appealed this decision, the judge said, well, you have a new job now. You're a wife and soon to be a mother. In 1963, Dr. Benjamin Spock, noted pediatrician, wrote an article for Ladies' Home Journal titled, Should Mothers Work? And he analyzed that under 3 situations it was okay. If it was economically necessary for the survival of the family, if that woman had some tremendous gift to give to society, such as curing a disease, or if that woman had a personality flaw that made homemaking or raising children unpalatable. And under those circumstances, it might be okay for her to have a part-time job. So now we have 70% of mothers with children under the age of 18 in the workforce, and we are one of 4 countries that has no paid maternity leave, 4 developed countries. Well, do we have a lot in common with these other countries? They are Lesotho, Papua New Guinea, and Swaziland. So what do we have in this country? Well, we do have some legal protections. We have the Family Medical Leave Act, signed into law in 1993. It allows for 12 weeks of unpaid leave to an eligible employee. Eligible employees work for a company that has more than 50 employees, and that employee must have worked there for at least a year in a full-time capacity. We also have the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, which prohibits an employer from firing a woman who's pregnant. Why do we need more policies and protections for working moms? Because the #1 predictor of poverty for women is motherhood. Because paid family leave reduces infant mortality by 20%. Because nearly 50% of all mothers have no paid family leave from their employers. And overall, mothers are 79% less likely to be hired for a job. because poor families spend 4 times the percentage of their own income on childcare as other families. And as many of us know, childcare is the same as the cost of a college education in some states. For 2 years, from 2010 to 2012, I interviewed dozens of lawyer moms across the country about their experience raising children while pursuing a legal career. They hailed from some of the most prestigious law schools, firms, and corporations in the country. They had strong voices, they had power, and yet they still struggled with the challenges of working parenthood and working motherhood. Particularly, they asked practical questions. Why doesn't the school day match the work day? Why doesn't the federal government, as an employer itself, have paid maternity leave? Why is this so hard? So if these our best and brightest advocates were having trouble with this, imagine how the rest of us are dealing with it. We have a saying in our house, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. It's time to throw a fit. And there are some new voices that have entered the conversation about working motherhood who are bringing this conversation to the forefront. Moms Rising has over 1 million members, and they are bringing these issues of economic stability for families to Congress, along with the National Partnership for Women and Families. The Family Act, which has been proposed by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, establishes a paid leave trust through the Social Security Administration. California, New Jersey, and Rhode Island already have paid leave programs in place. And you might ask, well, isn't that really expensive? And aren't the taxpayers paying a whole lot of money for that? Well, in New Jersey, it costs 75 cents per employee per week, or less than $40 a year. Working motherhood is here to stay. And moms are in the workforce. It's not going in the other direction. It's increasing. Other countries around the world have figured this out, and we need to catch up with them. The United Kingdom has 52 weeks of paid family leave. Canada has 50 weeks. Norway, 44 weeks. Venezuela, 18 weeks. Pakistan has 12 weeks. Mexico, 12 weeks. If these other countries can figure it out, I think the United States has a real chance of doing this as well. Working moms need paid family leave. They need flexible work arrangements, and they need better childcare policies. We need to see some real work done on these issues. If I could go back to my 1970s and 80s self, or if I could tell my own 2 daughters and my son what to do with their own careers or how to approach this, of course I would say, you can do anything and you can be anything, but it might be a little harder than you think to be everything. Thank you.